All right. Is it visible to all of you properly? If I type something here, please let me know if you all can see it. Is it visible when I'm typing? Please type yes in the chat box if it is visible what I'm typing. Can you read welcome to demo class on Indian monsoon? Yes. I need more responses. Okay, of course. Dai Malu. Okay, fine. Very good. So we'll just wait for another 2 minutes before we begin the class. We are waiting for few more participants to join. Any questions you have regarding UPSC pattern of examination or geography as a subject? You can ask me now before we begin. Any questions or the participants want to ask who have already logged in? Any questions? Please type in the chat box. I hope I'm audible properly. I'm audible properly, right? Please type yes in the chat box. All right. Any questions you want to ask? Okay, Arka, that's fine. Great. All right. Now, see, talking about geography as a subject, let me introduce myself first. I am Anuj Singh. I'm director and founder of IQ Civils IS Academy, and I'm also one of the faculties at the Institute of Geography, Aptitude, and Ethics. Okay. Now, talking about geography as a subject, we consider geography as a very important subject from the perspective of preliminary examination, from the perspective of main examination, as well as from the perspective of interview. Now geography and environmental science combined weighs about 25% in the prelims examination. Out of 100 questions, minimum to minimum, we are expecting 25 questions to come from geography and environmental science combined. Okay. And when we talk about the main examination, the general studies paper 1 of main examination of UPSC, which carries total 250 marks and includes history and geography as the subjects. So we are expecting 120 to 125 marks of geography from there, paper 1. So questions come from Indian geography, questions come from world geography, they come from general geography, and also in paper 3 of UPSC, we have questions from environmental science, and you can easily expect around 80 to 100 questions out of 250 in paper 3 of general studies. And apart from that, the essay paper, which carries about 8 topics, you can expect around 2 topics from 2 to 3 topics from geography and environmental science every year. So all in all, if we have to average it out, we can talk about 250 to 300 marks out of 1250 marks of general studies will comprise of geography and environmental science together. So it becomes important. Certainly it's a very interesting subject, and I would consider geography as a very good subject, not only because it is of interest to me. I wrote IAS exam of 2013 taking geography as a subject, but I find it very conceptual. 40 to 50% of the total syllabus of geography is conceptual, meaning that if you have understood once, you will not need to revise again and again, because it's very, very conceptual. It's just science, it's just physics being applied onto some higher level of science. So it's just basic science. Although I agree that 50 to 60% of optional syllabus you have to memorize, but still 40 to 50%, considering the amount of subjects you have to memorize, it's pretty comfortable. Okay, so 40 to 50% is very, very conceptual. It's like mathematics. Once you understand, you will understand it forever. So let's begin today's topic. Now, today's topic is Indian monsoon. Now, it's a very, very important topic, not only from the perspective of Indian geography, but also from the perspective of understanding the climate of India, climate of India. So understanding Indian monsoon is the most fundamental. Okay. Now, every year you can expect minimum to minimum 1 or 2 questions in prelims coming from Indian monsoon. Certainly in general studies, any current affairs pertaining to Indian monsoon, you can expect 2 to 3 questions in mains. And certainly when we are talking about the optional subject, Indian monsoon is very central, to the syllabus of optional geography. Okay. So very, very important topic. And now let's begin to understand Indian monsoon. Now, let me go to the new slide. Now, before we begin to understand Indian monsoon, what we have to understand first is that, where as a country we are placed on the surface of the earth. For example, if I say, this is earth, okay? And if I say, let me draw equator. Now, equator is nothing but it's the central latitude which passes through the center of the earth, across 360 degrees. So this is equator, the central latitude. Now, latitudes are nothing but they are imaginary lines drawn on the surface of the earth, so that we as humans can interpret geography in a more logical manner. Now, equator is nothing but 0 degree latitude. Now, above equator, we have another latitude which is termed as the Tropic of Cancer. Okay. Now, this latitude is Tropic of Cancer. Now, what is Tropic of Cancer? Tropic of Cancer is nothing but it's a 23.5 degree north latitude. Okay. Then we have another important latitude in the southern hemisphere, which is called as the Tropic of Capricorn. Now, what is Tropic of Capricorn? Tropic of Capricorn is very similar to Tropic of Cancer. The only difference is that this one is located in the southern hemisphere with the same latitudinal dimensions, 23.5 degree south. Okay. Now let's say if I ask you one question, where are we located? Where is India located? So we are located primarily in the northern hemisphere. Now, what is this? This is northern hemisphere. All the places on the surface of the earth which are located north of equator will fall in the northern hemisphere, and all the places on the surface of the earth which are located south of equator are in the southern hemisphere. So we as country, the Indian subcontinent, or if we talk about the group of countries, for example, India, Nepal, Bhutan, we talk about Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Bangladesh. It's a group of 7 to 8 countries which is located in the northern hemisphere, and this is the location we are talking about. We are talking about India, located in the northern hemisphere and in the eastern hemisphere. This is India. Okay, this is our India. All right, now understand this, understand this. To understand the Indian monsoon, the mechanism of Indian monsoon, what we have to understand first is that the sun moves between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The sun only moves, and the direct rays of the sun fall only between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Nowhere else on the surface of the earth, is the direct rays of the sun found. They're only found between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. So this is our Tropic of Cancer. Now, for example, on March 21st, March 21st, where is the sun? On March 21st, the sun is directly shining on equator. The sun is directly shining on equator. What is the date? Date is nothing but it's March 21st. Now, March 21st is also termed as, what is it termed? It is also termed as spring equinox. Spring equinox. There is a word I am using here, equinox. Now, what does this word equinox mean? Now, equinox means equal days, equal nights on all the places of the earth. Whenever the sun is shining on equator, what we can say is all the places on the surface of the earth witness equal number of hours of days and equal number of hours of night. Okay. Now, as the time progresses, we finish off March, we come into April, the sun begins to move. The sun begins to move northward. Now, the sun begins to move northward. Now, the sun is approaching Tropic of Cancer, and on the date of June 21st, the sun is directly shining on Tropic of Cancer. So it takes about 3 months for the sun to travel from the equator and reach the Tropic of Cancer, about 3 months. Now, in 3 months, what happens is, the summers which were there present at equator in the month of March, now we have summers in the month of June. The places which are present on the Tropic of Cancer. So basically what it means is when the sun is directly shining on equator, it means that all the places on the surface of the earth will have summers around the month of March. But whenever the sun approaches the Tropic of Cancer, what it means is now the summers are concentrated around the month of June in the places which are occurring on the Tropic of Cancer. Okay, so it is a shift of summers from equator to the Tropic of Cancer. It is basically, the summers which are found on equator on March 21st are now found on Tropic of Cancer on June 21st. Now see, understand this. If the temperature is high at equator on March 21st, let's say I take the example of the date on March 21st, that means if the sun is directly shining, the region in general will have low pressure. What it will have? Low pressure. LP is nothing but low pressure, LOW. Low pressure hota kaise hai? Now, whenever the sun is shining directly on the surface of the earth, the surface gets heated up, and because of that, the air molecules which are in close contact with the surface, they also get heated up due to the process of conduction. And because of that, the air molecules tend to expand, and when they expand, they leave the surface and move to the upper atmosphere. And when they move to the upper atmosphere, what we find is a vacuum on the ground. Now, for example, if this is low pressure at a certain place, that means the air molecules have been heated. The air molecules have been heated and they move to the upper atmosphere. That means they will create a high pressure in the upper atmosphere. They will create a high pressure because जहां भी air molecules होंगे वहीं पे high pressure हो जाएगा, और जहां से air molecules छोड़ के ऊपर जाएंगे वही surface vacuum में convert हो जाएगा, और उसी vacuum को हम बोलते हैं low pressure. Okay? अब यही high pressure है. अब मान लीजिए एक और जगह है, अब आप कहेंगे कि इस लो प्रेशर में हीट अप होने के लिए एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स आते कहां से हैं? So basically any high pressure zone which is surrounding the low pressure, it could be miles away, it could be 1,000 miles away. So from this high pressure the air molecules move towards low pressure, they move towards low pressure. So यहाँ पे molecules, air molecules आते रहते हैं, heat up होते रहते हैं, they keep on leaving the ground, they keep on leaving the surface. Now अगर यहाँ पे high pressure मिल रहा है कहीं पे, तो हम ये समझ लें कि उसके immediately ऊपर in the upper atmosphere हमको क्या मिलेगा? low pressure. अगर surface पे high pressure है तो immediately above that surface you will find low pressure, low pressure. तो ऊपर भी कैसे मूवमेंट होगा एयर मॉलिक्यूल्स का? दे विल मूव इन द सेम, बाय द सेम लॉजिक, दे विल मूव फ्रॉम हाई प्रेशर टू लो प्रेशर, एंड व्हेन दे रीच दिस लो प्रेशर रीजन, तो यहाँ पे क्या है? द surface is not that heated. That's why the air molecules by virtue of gravity will have a tendency of settling down. They have a tendency of settling down in the high pressure zone. That's why it is a cycle. That's why it is a cycle. So wherever we find low pressure, that means from somewhere this vacuum is attracting the air molecules. They get heated up. They create high pressure in the upper atmosphere. And in the upper atmosphere also, it searches for another low pressure, which is found directly above the high pressure. And that's why there is a clockwise cycle of air. So this is nothing but this is the movement of air. Okay. Now come back to this diagram. So what I said was on March 21st, we find low pressure around equator, because that is the time when all the countries on equator, for example, we are talking about Maldives, we are talking about Singapore, Malaysia, countries which are located close to equator, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. We are talking about Congo, the country of Congo in Africa. We are talking about Gabon in Africa. We are talking about the West Indian islands, the Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica. We are talking about Venezuela. We are talking about Ecuador, the countries of South America. They witness summers around the month of March. Now, when the sun moves to Tropic of Cancer, we are talking about our country here, India here. Now, this is India. This is India here. So, India basically is divided by Tropic of Cancer into two equal halves. That means the Indian summer ideally should start around the month of June. And that's how it happens. The Indian summer starts around the month of June. That means whenever the sun is shining directly here, what we can say is there is a low pressure. There is a low pressure. And this low pressure, which was there on equator, is no more a very intense low pressure. So what we can just say is that during the month of June, when the sun shines directly on Tropic of Cancer, the equatorial low pressure, which was there in the month of June, for a temporary period becomes a high pressure. And this low pressure for a temporary time period shifts to the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Cancer. Now, this is a temporary phenomena. Now, why I call it a temporary phenomena? Because the sun keeps on moving. Now, the sun is not stationary on the Tropic of Cancer. Now, the moment we have the month of July, the sun again travels back towards equator. And by September, the sun is again on the equator. And then after September, October, November, December, the sun is here. So this is the position of the sun in December. The sun is on Tropic of Capricorn in December. And then again, starting from January, February, March, the sun again comes back to equator. So you see the thumb rule says that the sun shuttles between the tropics. The sun does not go beyond the tropics. It just shuttles between the tropics. So direct rays of the sun are found only within the tropics. All right. Now, because there is a temporary low pressure around the month of June in the Indian subcontinent, and there is a temporary high pressure around equator. Now, this pressure difference of Tropic of Cancer, which is the low pressure in June, and the temporary high pressure around equator in the month of June again is the major reason for the mechanism of Indian monsoon. This is the reason why we have Indian monsoon. Now we know Indian monsoon does not last all the year round. It does not occur for 12 months. Indian monsoon just occurs only for 3 to 4 months. Now you understand one thing here. When the Indian monsoon begins around the month of June. Now when the sun starts to approach India, from June the Indian monsoon begins, and when the sun starts to recede back to equator, it still lasts, but the intensity keeps on decreasing. So what we can say is simply that the Indian monsoon begins from June, it lasts until July, August and September. So we are talking about 4 months of rainfall, 4 months of heavy rainfall. Okay, is that understood? Any doubt here? What is the cause of Indian monsoon? Understand very clearly that the temporary condition of low pressure around the Indian subcontinent, which is divided by Tropic of Cancer into 2 equal halves, and a temporary high pressure south of Indian subcontinent around equator is the major reason why we have rainfall in the 4 months of June, July, August and September. And why we concentrate on these 4 months is simply because 80% of the total rainfall, 80% of the total annual rainfall in India basically falls in the months of June, July, August and September, 80%. Now, let me give you a statistic here. One term we use in the climatology is called LPA. Now, LPA is nothing but long period average. Now, long period average means over a period of number of years, the meteorological organization, they measure the amount of rainfall a country receives. So our long period average, which has been measured over multiple decades, is about 120 centimeters annually. That is the annual rainfall of India. The annual rainfall of India, I'm writing it again. Please understand the annual rainfall of India is 120 centimeters per year. Now 120 centimeters per year is the total rainfall in India. Out of that, if 80% of the rainfall is falling in the months of June, July, August and September, we can say that nearly 100 centimeters of rainfall occurs in the months of June, July and September. Okay. Now, when you should ask me one question. What is the centimeter? Now, centimeter is nothing but if you know about an instrument called rain gauge. Now, the meteorological organization uses rain gauge to measure the centimeters of rainfall or the amount of rainfall. So, in the rain gauge, up to whatever height the water level is filled up during a rainy day gives the rainfall on that particular day. For example, there was rainfall for 2 hours in Guwahati or in Delhi on a single day, and the rain gauge shows 4 centimeters. That means on that particular day, 4 centimeters of rainfall has fallen. Now, every day they will aggregate, they will sum the total amount of rainfall, and finally, for 365 days, they will come to a number or amount of rainfall. Okay. So, India का average कितना है? इंडिया का एवरेज है 120 सेंटीमीटर्स पर ईयर. उसमें से 100 सेंटीमीटर्स या फिर नियरली 80% ऑफ द रेनफॉल फॉल्स इन जून, जुलाई, अगस्त एंड सितंबर. अब इसमें आप एक इंटरेस्टिंग एनालॉजी देखिए. जून, जुलाई, अगस्त एंड सितंबर क्यों? क्योंकि जून में सन कहां पर है? जून में सन है ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर पे. अब आप पूछोगे कि यू शुड आस्क मी अप्रैल और मई में बारिश क्यों नहीं होती? अप्रैल और मई में बारिश इसलिए नहीं होती क्योंकि अभी लैंड को हीट अप होने के लिए थोड़ा टाइम चाहिए. अप्रैल मई से हीटिंग शुरू हो जाती है. क्यों हीटिंग शुरू हो जाती है? क्योंकि अप्रैल मई में सन कहां होता है? इट इज इन द ट्रांजिशन जोन. इट इज बिटवीन इक्वेटर एंड ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर. तो अप्रैल और मई में हीटिंग शुरू होती है. वही हीटिंग पीक पे पहुंचती है जून में, और जून में जब वो हीटिंग पीक पे पहुंचती है तो जब जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर में वापस सन पहुंच जाता है इक्वेटर पे, तो वो हीट धीरे धीरे डिसिपेट होती है. लेकिन जब तक वो डिसिपेट होती है तब तक हमको रेनफॉल मिलती रहती है. ठीक है, वी कीप ऑन गेटिंग रेनफॉल until the sun again touches back to equator. कब? सितंबर में. इसलिए जो वो पीरियड है, the period of the movement of the sun when it is on Tropic of Cancer in June and when it is on equator in September, that is the period when the subcontinent of India and the surrounding countries, the subcontinent means the surrounding countries, they get maximum rainfall. Yes, understood? Any doubt here? Any doubt on this diagram? Is it understood? Please type yes in the chat box. If yes, we will move to the mechanism of Indian monsoon. Is it clear? All right. So I'll assume no doubts. Now can we draw a map of India here and understand the mechanism in little more detail? Okay, little more detail. Now draw with me if you have a register, but don't bother about it right now. If you can draw a good diagram, it's fine. Otherwise, just follow me, okay? Now this is Jammu and Kashmir. I've just drawn. Are you able to see J&K on your screens? Is J&K visible? I've just drawn J&K. Please type yes in the chat box. It's very, very important you follow the map. All right? Acha, J&K ke baad we move eastward. We go to the country of Nepal, then Sikkim, the state, beautiful state of Sikkim, the beautiful small country of Bhutan, and then our own state, Arunachal Pradesh. Then we move down to the northeastern states of Nagaland, Manipur, and then we draw our neighbors, eastern neighbors. कहाँ हैं? ये हैं हमारे ईस्टर्न नेबर्स. कौन है? बी फॉर बांग्लादेश. ओके, ये बांग्लादेश है. ऊपर हमने क्या बनाया था? भूटान. दिस इज भूटान and this is our another neighbor in the north, Nepal. Okay, Nepal. Now let's complete the diagram. Let's draw the inverted triangle, and here we go. Okay, here we go up. So what do we have here? The state of Gujarat. State of Gujarat. Okay. अच्छा, नीचे क्या है? We have seen equator. Yes, equator. All right. Acha, let us understand few physical features of India before we talk about the mechanism. Okay. Now, let me use a different color here. Now see, we know about Himalayas. What are Himalayas? They are mountain ranges which are present in the north of India. Okay, mountain ranges. Now Himalayas are present in the form of three parallel ranges. Now how are Himalayas formed? We will talk about in a different session of geography, and the topic will be plate tectonics. Now Himalayas are formed as a result of, while I'm drawing, I'm talking about this. Himalayas are formed as a result of collision of Indian plate with European or Eurasian plate, Eurasian plate. Now collision की वजह से क्या हुआ कि इंडियन प्लेट टकराई किससे? वो टकराई यूरेशियन प्लेट से. लैंड से जब लैंड टकराती है तो बीच में क्या होगा? कंप्रेशन होगा. उसी कंप्रेशन की वजह से जो भी फोल्डेड मैटर है वो राइज करता है किसके रूप में? माउंटेन के रूप में. Whenever two land masses collide or whenever two land masses converge, the force of compression ultimately results into the folding or the rising up of the sediments which are found at the interface of two land masses. तो उसी से क्या बना? Himalayas. So Himalayas are found in the form of three parallel ranges. अच्छा, जो northward parallel range है, northern most parallel range है, उसका क्या नाम है? The Greater Himalayas. They are also called, what is the name? They are also called Himadri. Okay. The middle parallel range of Himalayas is called, what is it called? मिडिल में है तो एक नाम तो मिडिल हिमालयस है, और दूसरा नाम क्या है? एनी गेसेस? कैन आई हैव द आंसर इन द चैट बॉक्स? दूसरा है हिमाचल. करेक्ट. एंड देन द सदर्न मोस्ट पैरेलल रेंज ऑफ हिमालयस, या तो आप उसको आउटर हिमालयस बोल सकते हैं. करेक्ट, आउटर हिमालयस, और इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड द फेमस शिवालिक्स. Is it visible? Shivaliks. Yes? All right. The three parallel ranges, also we have to understand, these three parallel ranges, they are diverging. They look broader in the west, but towards the east, these parallel ranges are converging. Means they lie very close to each other in the east, but in the west, they are diverging. They are broader. They are away from each other. सो जब हम पैरेलल रेंज बोलते हैं तो ये फिगरेटिव वर्ड है. पैरेलल रेंज का अल्टीमेट मतलब ये हुआ कि ऑलमोस्ट पैरेलल, लेकिन डाइवर्जिंग है वेस्ट में और कन्वर्जिंग है ईस्ट में. अब ये एक सेपरेट टॉपिक है हिमालयस का, जिसका हम प्लेट टेक्टोनिक्स में बात करेंगे फ्यूचर में. ठीक है. नाउ दिस इज वन फिजिकल फीचर, वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ अनदर माउंटेन रेंज विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव of understanding of Indian monsoon are the north to south range called Aravallis, which are the old fold mountains of Rajasthan. You know, they lie from southwest direction. ये क्या है? कौन सी डायरेक्शन है? This is southwest, and they stretch towards the northeast direction. So basically, these Aravallis, they begin from southern Rajasthan in northwest India, and they terminate in Delhi. So their height is more in Rajasthan, and by the time we reach Delhi, the height becomes low. So in Delhi, in South Delhi primarily, you only find ridges, small ridges, और छोटे छोटे पहाड़ मिलते हैं, लेकिन वो क्या है? They are nothing but the extension of Aravallis into Delhi. Okay, you see how they are placed. Now, another mountain range which is important from the perspective of understanding of Indian monsoon are called the Western Ghats. You see Western Ghats here? Yes, these are the Western Ghats. Now, Western Ghats are laid from north to south on the western coastline of India. They almost begin with the state of Gujarat in the north, and they enter Maharashtra, then Goa, and finally the Western Ghats terminate in the state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu combined. Okay, state of Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Okay, so all along the western coastline of India, and they are a series of mountain ranges from north to south. Now, one thing to understand, if I am talking about Western Ghats, they are low hills in the north, but as we move towards south, the Western Ghats become high. They become high. So their height increases from north to south on the western coastline. That means when they become high, so here they bring about more rainfall. We'll talk about why. Okay, but always remember, Western Ghats are low in the north and they're high in the south. Okay, another important mountain range which is found on the eastern coastline of India, we talk about this mountain range. Now this mountain range, they are called, so let me write here, Western Ghats. Now this mountain range, EG basically stands for Eastern Ghats. Eastern Ghats कहाँ मिलेंगे? Eastern coastline of Western Ghats on the western coastline of, okay? Is it understood? Yes? Fine. Another thing to remember about Eastern Ghats, they are very much opposite of Western Ghats. They are high in the north. Eastern Ghats are high in the north while they are low in the south. So Western Ghats से opposite है. Western Ghats में क्या था? Western Ghats were low in the north, they were high in the south. But Eastern Ghats, they are high in the north, but they are low in the south. And Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats, they basically meet at a mountain range here on the border of almost Tamil Nadu and Kerala in the mountains of Nilgiri. So Nilgiri basically is the meeting point of Eastern Ghats and Western Ghats. वैसे तो तमिलनाडु में आता है, but it is not very far from the Tamil Nadu and Kerala border. Okay, so कहाँ मिलते हैं Western और Eastern Ghats? नीलगिरीज में. ठीक है? All right. Any doubts until now? Are we okay? Please type yes in the chat box. I will know. Are we all right? All right. Very good. Okay. Now few more features before we go into the mechanism of Indian monsoon. अच्छा, यहाँ पे एक और पैरेलल रेंज है मध्य प्रदेश में. स्टार्ट्स फ्रॉम ऑलमोस्ट द बॉर्डर ऑफ मध्य प्रदेश एंड राजस्थान. विंध्यास, द विंध्यास. और विंध्यास के नीचे एक और माउंटेन रेंज है, उसका क्या नाम है? सतपुरा. इन द सेंट्रल part of India. They are also called the central mountain ranges, Vindhyas and Satpura. Okay, Vindhyas and Satpura. Are we okay? Yes. Please type yes in the chat box. And if you have any doubt, please stop me. I will stop right there and I will clear the doubt. Then we will move ahead. Okay. Now just let me also mention, because since we are talking about Himalayas, please draw your attention towards the northeastern part of India here. The Himalayas also extend southward, southward. ये एक southward extension है. Can you see this portion? This portion I'm talking about. Now what is this portion? This is basically the eastern extension of the Great Himalayas. Now they extend into Nagaland. After terminating in Arunachal Pradesh, they take a hairpin bend, they extend into Nagaland, they extend into Manipur, they go up to Mizoram, Tripura, and also they extend into the country of Myanmar. What is the name of Himalayas in Myanmar? Can anyone answer that? What is the name of Himalayas in Myanmar? They are famously called by the name of Arakan Yoma. In Myanmar, the Great Himalayas are called the Arakan Yoma. Okay. Now, so basically, when we talk about the Great Himalayas, what we are talking about here, they extend from Jammu and Kashmir, they extend into India as well, Nepal, they go right up to northeastern end in Arunachal Pradesh, and then they finally take a bend and they enter Nagaland, Manipur, and also they go up to Myanmar. So what are these? The Great Himalayas. Okay? Yes? Any doubt here? Okay? Is this understood? Some of the physical features clear. All right? Now, before we go into the mechanism of Indian monsoon, there is one small thing I would like to explain, are the hills of Meghalaya, the famous Garo Khasi Jaintia hills of Meghalaya. We should know their location. It's very, very important to understand where they are found on the map of India. All right. Can you see here? No, can you see here? You know, if I change the color, I change it to green when I'm showing the hills. No, कहाँ पे हैं? These are the famous hills of Meghalaya. No, now this is number one, this is number two, and this is number three. Now, what is number one? The hills of Meghalaya, Garo Hills, the famous Garo Hills. These hills are almost present one after another, one after another in the state of Meghalaya. And they stretch from west to east. Garo in the west, Khasi in the central, and finally, when we move towards the east, what do we find? Jaintia Hills. Okay, Jaintia Hills. And there's a small extension of our Meghalaya hill complex, in the form of, what is the name? Mikir Hills. Mikir Hills, they extend, in the northeast direction. Now, what is this? Basically, now some people have doubt that these are part of Himalayan mountain ranges. No, they are not part of Himalayan mountain ranges. Rather, famously, it is known as the Shillong Plateau. Okay, Shillong Plateau. Now, what is Shillong Plateau? It is part of peninsular India. It is an extension of peninsular India into the northeastern India. Northeastern India. It is separated from the mainland India by a gap which is known as the Garo Rajmahal Gap. Garo Rajmahal Gap. Okay. Now, Garo Rajmahal Gap is nothing but it is the Siliguri corridor. It is the Siliguri corridor and the surrounding region. The famous place of Siliguri, located south of Darjeeling in the beautiful state of West Bengal. Okay. Garo Rajmahal Gap, what it does is it separates the Shillong Plateau. Shillong Plateau, SP. I'm writing SP from mainland India. All right. From mainland India. Am I clear? Yes. Separates the Shillong Plateau from mainland India. Okay. Now, are we clear? The Himalayas, we know the location, the placement of Aravalis, we know the placement of Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats, we know Vindhyas, Satpuras, and we know the famous Meghalaya hill complex in the form of Shillong Plateau. All right. Now, can we begin to understand Indian monsoon? Any doubt until now? Any doubts? Please ask me, or else we'll move ahead. Okay. Now, again, look here. We'll draw very quickly the map of India. All right. Now see, नीचे क्या है? Equator. ठीक है? All right. Now, equator पे sun कब था? We have seen in the last diagram, when we saw the sun on equator was present on March 21st. Correct. March 21st को sun equator पे था. But, the Tropic of Cancer, if we draw here, it passes through almost central part of India. It passes through the central part of India. This is our Tropic of Cancer. तो सन ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर पे कब पहुंचता है? the sun reaches the Tropic of Cancer in the month of June and very specific June 21st. ठीक है, all right. So ये क्या है? Basically this is what it is, the movement of the sun. We are talking about the movement of the sun. No. Now देखो हो क्या रहा है? Please understand this very carefully. That from March 21st to June 21st, the heating of the Indian Ocean happens. यहाँ पे कौन सा ocean है? Indian Ocean. And specifically, if we talk about the two major portions of Indian Ocean, Arabian Sea in the west and Bay of Bengal in the east. Okay, तो किस किस की heating हो रही है? Peninsular India. Now peninsular India is nothing but all of India's places and mountain ranges and everything which are located south of Vindhyas. Anything south of Vindhyas are technically known as peninsular India. Now peninsular India is the inverted triangle you see here, and on the east of this inverted triangle is located Bay of Bengal, and on the west is located the Arabian Sea. Now equator is located at 0 degree latitude, and our tip of India begins at 8 degrees north. So basically we are talking about almost 8 degrees of latitudes between equator and the tip of India. Now what is the tip of India? The tip of India is nothing but the beautiful place in Tamil Nadu by the name of Kanyakumari. That is the tip of India at 8 degrees north latitude. So जब sun का movement शुरू होता है मार्च से, it begins to heat up the Indian Ocean, which is located between 0 degree and 8 degrees north latitude. Then post 8 degrees north up to what? Up to 23.5 degrees north, which is the Tropic of Cancer. The heating happens. So 3 महीने heating होती है, and the latitudes which are heated up are between 0 degree and 23.5 degree north. लेकिन होता क्या है कि heating does not remain confined to these latitudes. Rather, the entire portion of India gets heated up. सब कुछ heat up हो जाता है, and this heating brings about a temporary condition, which is, again, we have seen in the first diagram we have drawn, the low pressure. Low pressure क्या है? जहाँ पे temperature ज़्यादा है, surfacial heating ज़्यादा है, the air molecules in contact with the surface, they begin to heat up and then they expand. And when they expand, they need more space. So that's why they leave the vacuum, they leave the ground surface and they rise up. So they leave a low pressure on the ground. Now this low pressure in the Indian subcontinent is centered around the Tibetan Plateau, the country of Tibet, which is located, north of Nepal. Part of China now, it's a very controversial territory. Part of China, controlled by China, a lot of problems, demographic issues in Tibet, But what we have to understand from the perspective of geography, a low pressure during and in the month of June is present, around the Tibetan Plateau. It does not mean that rest of India has high pressure. It is only thing which we are saying is the low pressure centered around Tibetan Plateau, and rest of India is also under low pressure. Okay. Now another thumb rule to understand: whenever equal amount of heating is given to a landmass and equal amount of heating is given to the water body, the landmass gets heated up quickly and the water body takes time to get heated up. तो जब भी सन जून में लैंडमास के ऊपर होता है तो यहाँ पे हीटिंग ज्यादा होती है, मींस यहाँ पे टेम्परेचर राइज ज्यादा जल्दी होता है. That means the temperature rises very abruptly, very quickly on the landmass. That's why the low pressure is very low. The low pressure is very low on the landmass. And compared to this low pressure on the landmass, हमको क्या मिलेगा? हमको ओशन में क्या मिलेगा? We will get a relatively high pressure. क्या मिलेगा? एक हाई प्रेशर मिलेगा. क्यों मिलेगा? क्योंकि वाटर को टाइम लगता है, एंड वाटर इज अ लिक्विड dissipates heat to all over the surrounding region. That's why a particular unit area of a water body does not get heated up very intensely. It takes time. So that's why whenever the sun is on the landmass in the month of June, it is heating the Indian subcontinent. A relative high pressure is found in the Indian Ocean. अब ये जब रिलेटिव हाई प्रेशर हमको मिला है और एक लो प्रेशर है कहाँ पे, लैंड मास पे, तो क्या होगा, सर्टेनली वन थिंग विल हैपन, एंड व्हाट इज दैट वन थिंग, is that we will notice, that the winds will blow from high pressure to low pressure. Wind कहाँ से move होगी, wind यहाँ से move होगी कहाँ की तरफ, low pressure. The winds will move from high pressure to low pressure. Can you see that? Are you agreeing? Are you agreeing to this direction? Yes. Yes. Now, why the direction is from southwest? Why the direction is from southwest to northeast? Tell me, answer this question. Why the direction is not from south to north? It is simply because of Coriolis force. Now, what is Coriolis force? Coriolis force is nothing but it's a pseudo force. It's an imaginary force which is a result of rotation of the earth. Earth कैसे rotate करती है from west to east, and whenever the earth rotates, it drags the air molecules which are present in contact with the earth's surface with it, and when it drags the air molecules, it tends to deflect the wind from its actual direction. Actual direction क्या है? What is the actual direction? Actual direction should have been from south to north, but ये possible नहीं हो पाता. Why it is not possible? This is not possible because Coriolis force tends to deflect the winds towards their right in the northern hemisphere. जो भी wind अपने direction में move करेगी, तो जो भी उसका right है वहां पे deflect हो जाएगी. इसलिए जो wind सीधा जाना चाहिए था वो right में deflect होके move करता है. इसलिए हम इन winds को बोलते हैं साउथ वेस्ट winds, and because they are bringing about monsoon, famously, what are they called? They are famously called as the south west monsoon. क्या बोलते हैं? साउथ वेस्ट monsoon. Now, why southwest? Why not northeast? Because always remember that the winds are named after the direction they are coming from. They are not named after the direction they are going to. So whenever the wind is coming from a southwest direction, they will be called as southwest winds. Southwest. तो ये कहाँ से आ रही हैं? ये southwest से आ रही हैं, correct? And they are going towards northeast. They are going towards northeast. Yes, getting this? Is this clear? Why the wind directions are not straight? Rather, the winds have bent towards their right due to Coriolis force. Coriolis force is a result of rotation of the earth, and because of rotation of the earth, anything which moves in the northern hemisphere has a tendency to deflect towards their right. Not our right, but the wind direction's right. Is it clear till now? Yes? All right. Any doubts here? Are we okay? I am erasing because I want to explain the mechanism of Indian monsoon on this diagram itself. All right. Okay. Yes. All right. Now see, very, very interesting. Okay, very interesting. Please pay full attention here, because this will make you understand completely. Now see here. अच्छा, साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून कहाँ से आता है? साउथ वेस्ट मॉनसून आता है इक्वेटर से. Now this is nothing but, what is this? Southwest monsoon. So southwest monsoon on an average on June 1st strikes the tip of peninsular India. Where does it strike? The tip of peninsular India on June 1st. And because of the inverted triangle nature or the vertex nature of peninsular India, the southwest monsoon gets bifurcated into two branches. Number one is this arrow, This is the branch, and number 2 is this branch. Now, number 1 branch is famously called as Arabian Sea branch because these winds primarily blow from the Arabian Sea and then they enter India. And the second branch is famously called as the Bay of Bengal branch, the Bay of Bengal branch of Indian monsoon, because it blows over the Bay of Bengal. Bay of Bengal के ऊपर blow करती है, and then it finally reaches the northeastern parts of India. Arabian Sea branch blows over Arabian Sea and then enters India through the Western Ghats. Okay, is it clear? Arabian Sea branch, Bay of Bengal branch. Now let us talk about the Arabian Sea branch first, because this is branch which is very phenomenal in bringing about majority of rainfall in India. Okay, now have a look. Okay, this is our Arabian Sea branch. Okay, is it visible? All right, the blue arrows. Okay, now let me also just complete. Now we have seen in the physical geography discussion, physical India discussion, that these are nothing but Western Ghats. The physical geography of India, Western Ghats, very, very important. Okay, Western Ghats. Now, Arabian Sea branch is traveling over the Indian Ocean. Now, this Indian Ocean has been warmed. The temperature of water is high in the Indian Ocean, and whenever any wind system blows over a warm water body, what it does, it brings about evaporation of water. It captures water from the water body, and the winds become moisture laden. Now the winds are not dry. Now since they have blown over the water body of Indian Ocean in the Arabian Sea, they become moisture laden. Moisture laden ka matlab hai now they have moisture, and when they have moisture and then they strike the tip of India. So first they strike the state of Kerala. The state of Kerala is the first state in the country which receives the first burst of Indian monsoon. Okay, the state of Kerala on June 1st. Now, state of Kerala has nothing but the Western Ghats. Now, the moment the winds climb over the Western Ghats, जैसे ही Western Ghats की तरफ जाएंगी, तो क्या होगा? Winds will climb up. अब देखिए, ये क्या है? ये है windward slope of a mountain, और ये दूसरा क्या है? What is this? Leeward. Okay. Now, windward slope पे the moisture laden winds. I'm writing here ML. ML means the winds have lot of moisture. The moisture laden winds, they climb over the slope, and whenever they climb over the slope of the mountain on the windward side, temperature of the wind reduces, pressure also reduces, क्योंकि जैसे ही हम एल्टीट्यूड गेन करते हैं तो टेम्परेचर भी कम होगा, प्रेशर भी कम होगा, तो उसकी वजह से क्या होगा? Clouds will form. Why clouds will form? Because now the gaseous water vapor converts into liquid water droplets, और liquid water droplet को हम बोलते हैं, what do we call it? The clouds. And whenever clouds become heavy, whenever they become heavy with water, क्या होगा? Rainfall. What is this? Rainfall. तो windward side में rainfall है, but the moment winds tend to descend down on the leeward side, temperature फिर से बढ़ जाएगा, pressure will also increase, temperature will increase, pressure will increase, and the rainfall will be lesser. Rainfall will be lesser. कहां पे होगी less rainfall? On the where is the rainfall, sir? Just hold on. So rainfall will be lesser on the leeward side, because the temperature of the wind system has increased, the pressure has increased, and the rainfall will be lesser. Is it clear? Yes. तो कहां पे हो रहा है ये? On the Western Ghats, if you see, the Arabian Sea branch of Indian monsoon will bring about more rainfall on the western slopes of Western Ghats, which are facing the Arabian Sea. But since the eastern slopes of Eastern Ghats are on the leeward, will be less. Is it fine? Is the screen visible to all of you? Is the whiteboard visible to all of you? Yes? All right. Now see. Now, further, when it brings about rainfall, so rainfall kitni hoti hai? Now, the western slopes of Western Ghats, they get on an average 250 centimeters of annual rainfall. कौन से western slopes? The slopes which are facing the Arabian Sea. लेकिन जो slopes which are facing the peninsular India, the eastern slopes of Western Ghats, because they are located on the leeward side of the mountains, what do they get? They get 150 centimeters of annual rainfall. Yes? Are we clear on this? 250 centimeters of annual rainfall on the western slopes of Western Ghats and 150 centimeters of annual rainfall because the eastern slopes of Western Ghats are located on the leeward side. Okay, leeward side. Is it clear? Yes? Now, if this is clear, understand. Now, this wind system, which is the Arabian Sea branch, it enters India. Now, I am drawing the arrow with red color because now I am drawing those winds which are entering the Indian peninsular plateau. Okay. Now, they are entering India. Now, they have entered India through the gaps in the mountains, through the gaps in the Western Ghats. And these gaps in the mountains are called as vortices. What are they called? They are called as vortices. Now, vortices is a gap in the mountains which allow for the entry of the Arabian Sea branch into the Indian subcontinent. अब एक चीज आप समझो यहाँ पे, अब कोई भी wind system, if it is made to pass through a small hole or a small area, क्या होगा? This is called the funneling effect. Funneling effect क्या है? What is the funneling effect here? Funneling effect is nothing but whenever a wind system is made to pass through a smaller area, the kinetic energy or the intensity of the winds increases. Now, intensity of the wind increases. Now, this Arabian Sea branch was blowing on the Indian Ocean with a lot of open area. But once it is made to pass through the gaps in the mountain, the speed or the intensity of the wind increases. And because of this increase in the speed of the moisture laden winds, they tend to bring about more rainfall. अब कहां पे rainfall आएगी? Rainfall आएगी यहां पर. ये कौन सी mountains हैं? Remember, we spoke about two mountain ranges, Vindhyas and Satpuras. Vindhyas and Satpuras. So Vindhyas and Satpuras क्या हैं? They are the mountain ranges which are located in central part of India, and because of the winds entering the Indian peninsular plateau, the Arabian Sea branch, we get rainfall in the Vindhyas mountain as well. अच्छा, अभी rainfall ज़्यादा होगी कि कम होगी? Tell me this, the rainfall will be higher or lesser in Vindhyas and Satpuras? Yes? What will be the amount of rainfall? High or low? Compared to Western Ghats? Certainly, the amount of rainfall here will be what? Will be lesser. Lesser because now the Arabian Sea branch has traveled over the landmass. The moisture content of the Arabian Sea branch reduces, and finally when it strikes the Vindhyas and Satpuras, again because of the mountain effect. Now what is this mountain effect called? This is famously called as the orographic effect. Orographic effect क्या होता है? जब भी हम मॉइस्चर लेडन विंड्स को एक बैरियर प्रोड्यूस करते हैं और उसकी वजह से रेनफॉल इंटेंसिफाई हो जाती है, उसी को हम बोलते हैं ओरोग्राफिक इफेक्ट। लेकिन यहाँ पे रेनफॉल कम है, यहाँ पे रेनफॉल कितनी है? द रेनफॉल इज ओनली 100 सेंटीमीटर्स, बिकॉज नाउ द मॉइस्चर कंटेंट ऑफ अरेबियन सी ब्रांच हैज reduced, has reduced, so the rainfall also becomes lesser। ठीक है, अब इसके बाद क्या होगा? What will happen after this? The Arabian Sea branch will continue to travel northward। कहाँ पे travel करेगी? Where it is traveling, where it is going, it is heading towards Rajasthan। Now what do we have here? The famous Aravalli mountains, remember Aravallis। लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि the moment the wind system enters the state of Rajasthan, the winds start traveling parallel to the mountain। They travel parallel to the mountain, and because they travel parallel to the mountain, rainfall nahi ho pati, because for the rainfall to come, we require that the moisture laden winds should make a head on collision with the mountain range। बट यहाँ पे कोई भी हेड ऑन कोलिजन नहीं है, इसकी वजह से there is no rainfall। So this we require for rainfall to occur। But here what happens is, instead of head on collision, the winds travel parallel, and because the winds travel parallel, there is no rainfall in the Aravallis, and that is the reason why the state of Rajasthan does not get rainfall from the Arabian Sea branch, because the placement of Aravallis is such that it does not allow for the rainfall to happen। But please don't mistake here that the winds are still carrying moisture, they're still carrying moisture, only because of the placement of Aravallis they are not able to bring rainfall in Rajasthan। But the moment the winds enter and strike the great Himalayas, the Himalayas which is present in the form of 3 parallel ranges, we get lot of rainfall, However, considering the Western Ghats, and compared to the Western Ghats, it is lesser। Now why it is lesser? Because now the Arabian Sea branch has basically traveled over most parts of India। It has crossed over Maharashtra, it has crossed over Madhya Pradesh, it has crossed over UP, and finally at the border of UP Nepal it meets the Himalayas। That's why rainfall is 100 centimeters। 100 centimeters, is it clear? Please type in the chat box, is it fine until now? Yes, all right। Now see, if you have understood this, now this condition, this condition of Aravallis where the rainfall becomes almost zero, what is it called? It is called the break in the Indian monsoon। So Arabian Sea branch, despite having lot of moisture content, it is not able to bring rainfall, and such condition, because the wind has traveled parallel to the mountain range, is simply called a break in the monsoon। Break in the monsoon means the potential was there to bring rainfall, but because of the fact that the mountains were placed parallel, there was no rainfall। Okay, break in the monsoon। और जो केरला में आता है जून 1 को, उसको हम बोलते हैं बर्स्ट। क्या बोलते हैं? बर्स्ट। तो burst and break, the two terms। burst means heaviest rainfall, break means no rainfall or negligible rainfall। तो burst केरला में आता है जून 1 को, break आता है Aravallis में maybe in July and August, when the Arabian Sea branch has managed to reach the state of Rajasthan। All right, are we okay until now? Yes. So one thing you have to remember, another thumb rule, and it says that the intensity of Arabian Sea branch reduces from south to north। Means south में rainfall is higher, south मतलब महाराष्ट्र, गोवा, कर्नाटका, केरला, और north में the rainfall क्या है? Rainfall is lesser। North क्या है? We are talking about anything above Madhya Pradesh, we are talking about Rajasthan, we are talking about Punjab, we are talking about Delhi, we are talking about UP. अगर हम दिल्ली की बात करें तो दिल्ली में रेनफॉल ज्यादा नहीं होती है और दिल्ली में हमेशा मॉनसून लेट आता है. So Delhi receives on an average 50 to 60 centimeters of annual rainfall, not more than that. 50 to 60 centimeters of annual rainfall, primarily because it is a plain region. Even similar to Delhi, Punjab also receives a similar amount of rainfall क्योंकि यहाँ plains हैं. लेकिन जैसे ही ये moisture laden winds they collide with the Himalayan mountain range, the rainfall increases to 100 centimeters. It increases to 100 centimeters. So you see how important the role is played by the topography of a region. Topography का मतलब हुआ whether it's hilly or a plain or a mountainous region. तो जहां पे hilly और mountainous होगा वहां पे rainfall automatically high होगी provided the winds have moisture. But जहां पे plains होगा, even if the winds have moisture, they will not be able to bring about much rainfall. Yes? All right. Is it clear? Please type in the chat box if I am clear. If you have no doubts, I want more responses. No doubts until now, please type in the chat box. Yes? All right. Now let's understand the Bay of Bengal branch. If you have understood the Arabian Sea branch and the impacts, let us understand the Bay of Bengal branch. Is the screen visible? Now see, I am drawing a schematic diagram of India just to make you understand. No problem, we'll just stick to the main map because here your understanding might be lesser. So I will quickly draw the main map. Now see, we are talking about Eastern Ghats here. Okay, we are talking about Eastern Ghats here. तो कहाँ पे हैं Eastern Ghats? These are the Eastern Ghats. Yes. Now these are nothing but the Eastern Ghats of India, and we see that the Bay of Bengal branch travels parallel to Eastern Ghats. What is this? The Bay of Bengal branch of Indian monsoon. It is traveling parallel to Eastern Ghats. Okay. Now, since it is traveling parallel to Eastern Ghats, I'm talking about the months of June, July, August, and September. So, in these months, this Bay of Bengal branch of Indian monsoon or the southwest monsoon again does not bring about rainfall क्योंकि यहाँ भी parallel movement हो रहा है. Parallel movement किसके साथ हो रहा है? Now the winds are moving parallel to the Eastern Ghats. So this is another condition of break in the Indian monsoon. ये फिर से break आ गया. Now why there is a break? Because the Eastern Ghats lie parallel to the direction of the Bay of Bengal branch. Another break. So this is the second break of Indian monsoon. The first break हमने कहाँ देखा था? In the Aravallis. Now this is the second break, and the moisture laden winds. Certainly these winds are moisture laden because they are blowing over Bay of Bengal. And as soon as they blow over Bangladesh and they strike the landmass, Bangladesh and West Bengal more or less in the southern region are plains. But the moment they enter into the hills of Meghalaya, moment they strike the Garo, Khasi, Jaintia hills. Remember, we spoke about Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills of Shillong Plateau. They bring about heaviest of rainfall. Why heaviest of rainfall? Because of, again, we have a mountain and the winds strike head on, and when they strike head on, because of the orographic effect, what do we have? We have heaviest of rainfall. And there are two places in the Meghalaya plateau. One is named Cherrapunji, and the other, Cherrapunji is also called Sohra, and the other place is called Mawsynram. So both places, they receive 1000 plus centimeters of annual rainfall. कितना हो गया? 1000 plus centimeters of annual rainfall. 1000 से भी ज़्यादा. It is because of the orographic effect, and the Bay of Bengal is not very far. It is not very far from the Meghalaya plateau. उसके बाद क्या होता है? The Bay of Bengal branch blows over Assam, and finally, it strikes the mountain range of, what it strikes? It strikes the mountain range of Arunachal Pradesh, the famous Himalayas. यहाँ पे क्या है? Himalayas. और यहाँ भी Himalayas हैं. हमने बताया था पहले कि Himalayas are not only found in the state of Arunachal Pradesh in the east, but they extend southward. Okay, they extend southward. So the moment the winds strike the Arunachal foothills, they bring about heaviest of rainfall. यहाँ पे rainfall कितनी है? Close to 200 centimeters of annual rainfall is found where? It is found on the foothills of Arunachal Pradesh. But एक और चीज यहाँ पे हो रही है. If you look very closely, these winds also strike the southward extension of Himalayas. Now this southward extension of Himalayas is famously called as Purvanchal Hill Complex. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Purvanchal Hill Complex. Basically, the states of Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura, the Himalayas of these four states combined is known as Purvanchal Hill Complex. But you understand one thing here. The moment these winds strike the Purvanchal Hill Complex, certainly they bring about rainfall, but at the same time, there's another impact. And what is the impact? That these winds, now they tend to get deflect towards west. Now this is the deflection. Now why this deflection is happening? Because the winds, they move towards Purvanchal Hill Complex, they bring about rainfall, but not all of them escape. Not all of them escape. Only a part of the wind escapes towards China, but a major substantial part of wind system gets deflected towards the east, and where are towards the west. I'm so sorry, towards the west, and then they strike the Chhattisgarh state of India and bring about very heavy rainfall in the Madhya Pradesh Chhattisgarh border, and also in the state of Jharkhand and Odisha there is a lot of rainfall. Now because of this, because of the Bay of Bengal branch bringing rainfall, the state of Chhattisgarh, the state of eastern Madhya Pradesh on the eastern part, Odisha, Jharkhand combined, they also receive 100 centimeters of annual rainfall almost. Now why it is? It is because of the fact that the Bay of Bengal branch has got deflected. Now deflected towards west. Now they continue to go towards east, and when they reach east, what do we have? The famous Aravali's again. The Aravali's fall in the path of the Bay of Bengal branch. But now, unfortunately, this Bay of Bengal branch, after it has already brought about rainfall in Chhattisgarh, eastern Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Jharkhand, it is no more having moisture. There is no more moisture in the Bay of Bengal branch. And the moment it strikes the Aravallis, it does not bring about any rainfall. So there is no rainfall again, or there is very less rainfall, negligible rainfall. That's why, if you see here, why Rajasthan is a desert? Simple reason why Rajasthan is a desert is simply because neither it gets good amount of rainfall from the Arabian Sea branch, neither it gets good amount of rainfall from the Bay of Bengal branch. That's why most of the state of Rajasthan has converted into a desert. Yes. So Bay of Bengal branch, if you see, has a characteristic of not bringing about rainfall in peninsular India, but the moment it enters northeastern India, first it brings about rainfall in Meghalaya, and then it brings about rainfall in the Arunachal foothills of Himalayas. And upon getting deflected towards west, then it brings about rainfall in central parts of India. But the moment this wind system reaches the Aravalis, it is again devoid of moisture. That's why there is no rainfall in the state of Rajasthan, and hence it is a desert. Yes? Any doubts until now? Please type in the chat box. If you have any doubts, please type in the chat box. All right. Is it clear until now? Yes? So basically, if you see, there are two regions in entire India which get maximum rainfall. One is the western slopes of Western Ghats. Other is the Arunachal foothills of Himalayas. So 250 centimeters of annual rainfall Western Ghats and 200 centimeters of annual rainfall in the foothills of Himalayas. Okay. Now, before we wind up today's session, we are running out of time. But I would just like to throw some light on the retreating monsoon. Okay, retreating monsoon. Now understand this. Anyone of you have idea what is a retreating monsoon? What is a retreating monsoon? Please type in the chat box if you know about retreating monsoon. Returning of monsoon. Okay, very good. What do you mean by returning of monsoon? What retreat are we talking about here? What is the retreat we are talking about? Okay, so let me explain. See, retreating monsoon is nothing but it is the fading out of southwest monsoon. Okay, the fading out of southwest monsoon is called retreating monsoon. बहुत सिंपल है. यहाँ पे देखिए, अभी जून 21st को the sun was on Tropic of Cancer. Okay, June 21st. That is the date. But we have also seen that if this is equator, this is my equator, the sun again comes back to equator around when? Tell me the date, type in the chat box. When does the sun return to equator? And on September 23rd, the sun is directly shining back on equator. तो इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि जो मेरा लो प्रेशर था, the low pressure which was very intense in the month of June, will now fade away. The low pressure will fade away. Why it will fade away? Because the low pressure itself follows the path of the sun. So whenever the sun is absent, the sun has begun its southward journey. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? The low pressure will fade away, and in place of this low pressure, the high pressure will take its place. The high pressure will take its place, and because of high pressure taking place, क्या होगा कि जो southwest monsoon है, the southwest monsoon which was blowing from the Indian Ocean towards India will also weaken, and slowly in the months of October, November, December, these are the 3 months when the southwest monsoon completely gets terminated, because by December the sun reaches the Tropic of Capricorn. तो अक्टूबर नवंबर दिसंबर में क्या होता है? अक्टूबर में इस महीने को हम बोलते हैं रिट्रीटिंग मॉनसून. रिट्रीटिंग मॉनसून इसलिए बोलते हैं क्योंकि दिस इज द मंथ व्हेन द सन हैज जस्ट क्रॉस्ड इक्वेटर. तो अक्टूबर में सन कहां पे है? इट हैज जस्ट क्रॉस्ड इक्वेटर. Now that is the time when the southwest monsoon weakens completely. It becomes very weak, and by the time November and December arrive, and when we know December 22nd is the date when the sun reaches Tropic of Capricorn. That means on December 22nd the sun is farthest from India. इंडिया से सबसे दूर कब है सन? December 22nd को, because that is the farthest point of the sun from India, and at that time the low pressure completely terminates, it completely eliminates, and the low pressure is replaced by high pressure. So there is high pressure. There is no more low pressure on the Indian subcontinent because now the sun is the farthest, and we are simply talking about high pressure only. High pressure. Now high pressure यहाँ पे है, तो water पे क्या होगा? Water पे क्या होगा? Low pressure. क्योंकि land cools down very quickly, land heats up very quickly. Water की दोनों properties हैं. Water heats up very slowly, water cools down also very slowly. तो जो पानी heat up हो गया था जून, जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर में, उसी पानी को the same water takes time to cool down. अगर टाइम लग रहा है कूल डाउन होने में, इसका मतलब टेम्परेचर हाई है, और अगर टेम्परेचर हाई है तो इसका मतलब है दिसंबर, जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च में यहाँ पे क्या होगा? लो प्रेशर होगा. और लैंड अगर एब्सेंस ऑफ द सन की वजह से, if the land does not have any more sunlight, it will tend to cool down very rapidly, and that's why there will be high pressure on land and there will be low pressure in the Indian Ocean. So wind direction opposite हो जाएगा. What is the wind direction now? Wind direction will be from northeast to southwest. This is the wind direction. And famously, it is because of the pressure difference. It is because of high pressure minus low pressure. So this is also called monsoon. But since the winds are coming from northeastern direction, this monsoon famously is called northeast. ठीक है? Northeast monsoon, because the winds are coming from northeast direction, and because the wind system is a result of pressure gradient, or it is the result of pressure difference between land and water, it is still called monsoon. ठीक है? लेकिन northeast monsoon ज्यादा बारिश लेके नहीं आ पाता है. It does not bring much rainfall because ultimately the winds are blowing from land to water. These winds are called offshore winds because they are blowing from land to water, and in the absence of water source they are not able to bring rainfall. Offshore winds always blow from land to water. Onshore winds always blow from water to land. तो जो हमारा साउथ वेस्ट मानसून था वो क्या था? ऑनशोर. और जो हमारा नॉर्थ ईस्ट मानसून है वो क्या है? इट इज नथिंग बट ऑफशोर. इट डज नॉट ब्रिंग अबाउट मच रेनफॉल. Entire northeastern India does not get rainfall in December, January, February, March. Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, they also don't get any rainfall. But एक एक्सेप्शन है, और वो एक्सेप्शन क्या है कि जो हमारा ईस्टर्न कोस्टलाइन है वहां पे रेनफॉल होती है. तो चेन्नई, फॉर एग्जांपल, चेन्नई में 80% रेनफॉल कब होती है? चेन्नई गेट्स 80% ऑफ इट्स रेनफॉल ड्यूरिंग विंटर्स because the Bay of Bengal the northeast monsoonal winds, when they blow over Bay of Bengal, they strike the coastline of Chennai. They also strike the coastline of Vishakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh में, and they bring about winter rainfall. So winter rainfall कहाँ मिलेगी? Eastern coastline पे. It is not found anywhere else in India because most of the places in India receive offshore winds in the form of northeast monsoon. Are you getting me? Yes. तो चेन्नई की एनुअल रेनफॉल कितनी है? 125 सेंटीमीटर्स. उसमें से 80% when we talk about, we are talking about almost 105 centimeters of total Chennai's annual rainfall is received due to northeast monsoon during the winter season. All right, is it clear? So with that, I shall wind up because we have exceeded the time a bit, and so you have any questions till now? You want to ask me any questions on whatever you have learned today? Any questions till now on southwest monsoon, Arabian Sea branch, Bay of Bengal branch, or a brief on the retreating monsoon and northeast monsoon? You want to ask me anything? Any doubts? Okay. Thank you very much. We'll continue these sessions, and I will strongly advise you to, kindly be present tomorrow. We have demo class on Indian Constitution, and we have a soft skill session from Alok Kumar. Okay. So we have two agendas tomorrow. One is the soft skill session by Alok Kumar. Other is the demo class by Nitin Kumar on Indian polity or Indian Constitution. So again, we'll meet from between 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. tomorrow. So I would request you guys to be online at 11:55 a.m. so that we are able to start the demo session and the soft skill session by 12:10. Okay. So if you don't have any doubts, we are signing off for now. And a very good night to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow again at 12. Good night. Bye.